especially with Obama, and we all know that the internet is already having a big impact on fundraising for the 2008 elections. And this week, we wrap up our series on the internet by discussing the World Wide Web's influence on modern politics. These days, we regularly see political bloggers eclipsing political journalists in readership. And now, MySpace is saying move over to New Hampshire, claiming credit for the first primary of the 2008 election. So just how important is blogging in politics, and will the candidate who masters the internet in 2008 be the candidate who wins the White House? Jill, I know you have some opinions on this.
Well, in terms of blogging, I don't think you can deny at all how important blogging is these days. I mean, this is the way that a lot of the candidates are getting their message out because they're all doing blogs, and you can't deny that every newsroom takes its cues from blogs now. I mean, everyone has the Drudge Report up every day. In terms of the MySpace thing, all right, funny thing about the fact that most people who are on MySpace don't vote, either because they're 12 or because they spend their time on MySpace. And all you need for a MySpace account is an email address, and I know I have about 13 of them, so, you know, I just think this is kind of...
Email addresses or MySpace? It matters.
Email addresses. But, so, you know, I just don't think this is going to even be valid. I think this is actually kind of comical.
Yeah, you know, it is actually kind of funny because every couple of years, you know, the media basically comes out with a new thing. The media doesn't really understand how the internet works, doesn't understand how a lot of these websites work, and they say, wow, such and such candidate has 100 million MySpace supporters. Obviously, he's going to be great, when in reality, this could be like 12 people with, you know, 10 million emails each, which it most likely is because tons of people have tons of emails. I think that when you see a lot of people getting a ton of support on MySpace, it's not nearly as much as people think. And I actually think it can be damaging because it'll lead people to believe that people have more support than they actually think they do. Especially candidates like if Barack Obama doesn't really understand how it works. He thinks he has 40 million supporters when really he's got about 5 million. That's a huge drop.
Now, perceptions can matter, though, because if you get people out there start saying, oh, look, Obama's got all these internet supporters, and then people go, well, I want to be part of that club, and people do join in. I mean, it's the same reason why winning New Hampshire, which is a very small state, can have huge pull. Couldn't this also play that same game?
Well, I mean, I guess that can kind of play that same game, but at the same time, if you've ever been on MySpace, like I'm sure that Barack Obama's got some friends like Captain Planet or Powdered Toast Man or other like fictional characters who obviously don't have voting power.
You're against
so I
the
really
environment.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, as I said before, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't really know if people are going to want to be part of this exclusive club like you say that they are.
I don't know. I've said it in the past, but I really think the internet's going to be a big key to this 2008 election. I think it's going to really connect the young voters to these people. Now, I agree with you on some points that this may look like they have more support than they actually do, but I think this is a great way for them to reach their hand out and say, you know, we want to hear what you have to say. We're interested in your vote. And I think that's a big thing because young voters definitely feel disengaged from the process.
Now, getting back to the blogs real quickly, we all know that like they're paying these bloggers a lot of money to write for their campaigns. Is this just another sign of that internet impact?
I definitely think so, and I think you already see the potential for scandal. I mean, a few weeks ago, John Edwards, you know, was asked to fire 2 of his bloggers by the Catholic League because, you know, they said some things that were less than nice about Catholics. And, you know, I think that does show that bloggers have a huge impact, and people are reading these, especially the people who are really involved in politics and who can make a difference at the beginning of a campaign.
Well, you know, it's true, yeah, a lot of people read blogs, but as you started to hint to, you know, blogs are unregulated. Blogs are just some guy sitting in his chair typing about a candidate. And even though, you know, there's not a rigorous process like it is with newspapers or TV, candidates will become linked to these bloggers, and you don't necessarily want, if you're a candidate, to be linked to certain bloggers who are not going to be perceived well. So, you know, it's definitely
bringing some more people in who might not have been connected. We'll see whether that actually translates to voter turnout, though. A much different thing.
Yeah.